All right, I went way over time on that one. I'm not very focused. There's a lot of things on my mind about this whole ministry that I have going here. Wondering what the heck I'm doing, but anyhow, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, the existent I am, and His only begotten Son, through the Holy Spirit. So, the time that Jacob was in Padam Aram with Laban, and he married Rachel, and he married Leah, and he had all the boys. Leah's children, and when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, He opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So, who else was barren in the Bible? Who else was barren? Can you think of anyone else that was barren? Sarah was barren before she gave birth to Isaac. John the Baptist's mother, Elizabeth, she was barren, and she was made to have a child. Rachel was barren. And the Lord, what's this? What is that telling us? That the Lord, this goes back to the virgin birth thing. See, and that's why when GMS says they don't believe in the virgin birth and things like that, it was Joseph's seed going back to Judah and that kind of Negro-centric nonsense. They're missing the point that the Lord can do anything. Nothing's impossible with the Lord. Nothing's impossible with the Lord. So why would you deny His power? It makes so little sense. Why would you even study the Bible if you don't believe in the power? That's where all the juice is. Let's look at what it says. Let's get the scripture. I think it's in Matthew. Malachi. It's not what I want. Anyhow, let's see. Well, anyway. Oh, here. Let's just get this one. Since we're talking about Jesus' birth and Bethlehem and Benjamin, born in Bethlehem. So it says in Matthew 2:5, and they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea. Where's he going to be born? In Bethlehem of Judea. What's that mean? Judah, Benjamin. Bethlehem Ephrata. For thus it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, art not the least among the princes of Judah? For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. And he sent them to Bethlehem. He sent them as apostles, almost as apostles. Apostles, the word apostle just means sent. To diligently look for the young child. Who are we looking for? We're looking for Jesus. Where's the magic? These are the magi. Where's the magic? This is what the book's saying. The magic, they're looking for Jesus. That's where the magic is. So, if I'm telling you I'm of Benjamin and the government will be on his shoulder and Benjamin rests on the shoulder of the Lord. Can you imagine that Benjamin is some kind of magician or not? Does that possibly stick in your head? Just saying. I wish I had a better place to do videos. I really do. Maybe if I sat in my house like Franchise Pearson does. So Laban pursues Jacob. That's where we were yesterday. He caught up to him and he said, the Lord told Laban, don't mess with my boy Jacob. And so when he caught up with him, he was like very careful about how he approached Jacob, and he basically just said, you know what? Everything's cool. I don't know why you ditched out, but I do want my gods back. My saints behind the glass, my St. Anthony's and my St. Joseph's and my whatever they were. You know, we don't know exactly what they were, but they were these idols that Laban worshipped. And what happened is Rachel took them because she was worried about her inheritance. So do we understand what the inheritance is, people? Do we get it? The inheritance is given to Israel. And through Israel, the inheritance is branched off and given to the churches and the Gentiles and anyone who's willing to follow. So she was worried about her inheritance, but she didn't realize Jacob, her husband, is her inheritance. Jacob is Israel. And so we're in this part right here where, let's see. And she said to her father, not let this, he's asking Rachel, let me see what you got in your saddlebags on your camel. And she says, I can't, I'm bleeding. I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of a woman is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images. So what's he looking for? He's looking for graven images. Right? He's looking for these false gods, these graven images. There's a moth on my window. The moth and the cankerworm are eating everything up here. And Jacob was wroth and showed with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What did I do to you? Wherefore thou hast searched all my stuff, and thou hast not found all your household things. Set it here before my brethren. Oh, this is where they made the witness pile. So this one came to me a long time ago. The witness pile. And I'm understanding, we went into the pillars. I mean, that last video about the pillars and what I've been talking about, the pillars of Benjamin, I probably should have looked into that before I started this video, but it's Saturday. There's a bunch of people here. It's loud. People are being themselves, I guess. And then they made a covenant. So after this happens, Jacob has to deal with Esau. So now he's got his family. He's got all his goods. Rachel has Laban's images, his idols. I'm not exactly sure what ever happens to these things. I'm wondering if they turn up. I don't know if they ever turn up. It's kind of weird about the story. I can't remember if those idols ever come into play again. But anyway, so Jacob has to deal with Esau now. So we're in Genesis 32. Jacob sends a message to Esau, and Jacob went his way, and the angels of God met him. So the angels are following Jacob and Israel everywhere. So that's one of the things we have to remember as Israelites. These there's certain angels that are attached to Israel. And so when you think of this story I'm telling you about myself being of Judah, of Benjamin, there's a certain type of angel around me, and it's been that way for a lot of my life. There's been a lot of miracles where my son was saved from death. I was saved from death. There's certain things that we've been kept for this time. We weren't snuffed out. There was plenty of times that the Lord's angels protected me and protected my family. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's host," and he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And when you look into that name Mahanaim, let me see what it says. From what I know, double camp. So actually the priests of Mahanaim, from what I remember, they're not, these are the death angels to a certain extent, right? These are the ones that are saving people and destroying people, taking people out. So when you think of the priests of Mahan, you're thinking of these Catholic priests and these high-level rabbis that are doing this witchcraft on the left-hand side. They're hosts of heaven, but they're on the left-hand side, right? And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau's brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. So Jacob's saying, I need to make things right with my brother because I have to come through here, right? Let's see what it says about Mahanaim. Mahanaim was the name given to the place meaning double camp. That's creepy. Possibly a reference to the two camps or bands of angels. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand? I don't have to read it. I already know it. Does that make you uncomfortable? Is that why no one wants to listen to me? Because it's like, he's a Mr. Know-It-All. I know a lot. I don't know it all, but I try not to speak unless I know what I'm saying is true. I've said this before. Or his camp and the angels' camp. The Jabbok was a tributary of the Jordan about 24 miles north of the Dead Sea. The name is related to the Hebrew word for wrestled in verse 24. Yavok for Jabbok, and Ye-Abek for wrestled. So, yeah, the two camps of angels. So we have this side of Israel, and then we have the black Hebrew Israelites, the black Hebrew Edomites that are preaching another God. And he commanded them, saying, Thus says you speak unto my lord Esau, thy servant Jacob has said thus, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed there until now. I have oxen and asses. I've gone into this before, where Jacob says, I want to give you something to make it right between us. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him in the flocks and the herds and the camels into two bands. So this is interesting, right? He's making it hard for Esau to take out the whole bunch of them. He's dividing the family so that it's safe, right? And he said, if Esau come to one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. Jacob's prayer, and Jacob said, O God, my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which said unto me, Return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal with thee there. And I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth. I'm not worthy of the least of these mercies and of all the truth, which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over the Jordan, and now I am become two bands, two camps. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother and the children. And thou said, I will surely do thee good and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. So he's saying, you promised me you'd take care of me. But I'm scared and I'm splitting into two bands. He probably should have had more faith. But he was thinking a little carnal because he's coming up against Mr. Carnal, Esau, right? Mr. Carnal, Mr. Esau Edom, Mr. The Lord came from the seed of Joseph, Mr. Carnal, Mr. Flesh. Get it? And he lodged there that same night and took of that which came to his hand, a present for Esau his brother. So what happens? They do the same thing. They agree to leave each other alone and go their separate ways. Let's see where it says it. And he delivered the camels and bulls, 10 bulls, 20 asses, and 10 foals. And he delivered them into the hands of his servant, and every drove by themselves, and said unto his servant, pass over before me, and put a space between drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, when Esau my brother meet thee, and asketh thee, who art thou, and where are you going, and who are these before thee? You shall say, they be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau, and behold, also he is behind us. And let's see. So before he went to meet Esau, that's when he wrestles with the angel. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he had prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint. And he wrestled with him, and he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let you go, except you bless me. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall no more be called Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed. What was I saying earlier in the message? The power is wanting to be blessed by God. That's where the power is. That's where as an Israelite you sit back and you go, I'm so blessed to be an Israelite. I've had to go through a lot, but at the end of the day, I'm protected. I'm good. Let's see how much time I got. So that was a good one. And he said thy name, it's Genesis 33:28. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. So, power with God and with men. What's that mean? I'm not going to tell you, because if you don't know, you need to find out. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. So this whole thing with the name, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, that's the true and only name of the Lord, blah, blah. Who the fuck are you to ask me what my name is what the Lord told him. You don't need to know my name, bro. And that's why this name thing is so... I mean, 2 years ago, I was doing the same thing. No, his name isn't Jesus. His name's Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. I was doing the same thing. I was acting like the fool. You know why? Because the Lord hadn't given me some of these realities. He didn't give me these truths yet. I had to dig in and go, what is going on here? These guys are whacked out. I'm not going to call on that name. Maybe later. Maybe later. Probably not. I don't think so. I think I'm going to be calling on Israel. The God of Israel, help me. The I am, where are you? I know you're there. Help me. I don't know what to call him. Father? Help me, Father. Do you like Jesus did? Abba, Father. My brother, Solomon, Jesus. You know, that guy. Where are you? The name. Fucking. And Jacob called the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face and my life is preserved. So what did I say about being kept? I'm really close to the Lord, believe it or not. And I've been kept for this time for some crazy reason to talk on this phone about the Bible to no one, to 8 people. Going, sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. Peniel means Peniel is how it's actually pronounced. Peniel. 30, it means face of God. Peniel. And as he passed over Penuel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which is upon the hollow of the thigh unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. We don't eat the thigh. Jacob and Esau meet, and Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men, and he divided the children unto Leah and unto Rachel and unto 2 handmaids. So he put Leah and one of the handmaids over there, and Rachel and one of the handmaids over there. So he split the camp. And he passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Was Esau evil? Was he wicked? He just gave up his blessing is all. He was stupid. He was foolish. And so what is GMS doing? And then we'll come back and talk about this a little bit more. Let me see what I got. Maybe I'll just close it out. I'm getting hot and uncomfortable, and I know there's not that many people really that interested. These guys will talk. If I say Edom is a fucking bunch of white fucking devils, yeah, everyone gets excited. But if I say, you know, Esau was just a fool, if I tell you the truth, he was just a fool who gave up his power. Like these Hebrew Israelites, they're telling you, Esau's the devil. Esau's the white man. He's Edom. He's Teman. If I say that, you'll get all excited. Yeah. Fuck those white people. It's playing into the devil's hands. Don't you get it? And he lifted up his eyes and saw the women and children and said, who are those with thee? And he said, the children which God has graciously given thy servant. And the handmaidens came near, and they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, what meanest thou by all this drove which I met? And he said, these are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that what thou hast unto thyself. And Jacob said, nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. What's he saying about Esau? He's saying seeing you is just like seeing God. I love you, brother. This is just too good to stop. I'll be back. Let's get through this this Jacob and Esau meeting. It's good stuff. This is where you learn not to hate.